Hello, I'm Saad Dino, pharmacist and co-owner of Acton Pharmacy. I would like to welcome you to A Healthier You. Our goal is to discuss relevant health topics and provide information that will help residents live a healthier lifestyle. Today's topic is cold and flu, and I'm very pleased to welcome Christina Knight, a family nurse practitioner at Inner Balance Integrative Medicine in Wellesley. Christina has an extensive knowledge of nutrition, the gastrointestinal tract, and women's health, and she utilizes her expertise to identify the root cause of the illness rather than just chasing symptoms. Christina, thank you so much. I am so pleased to have you on our show today. Can you please tell us a little more about you and what you do, please?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. I enjoy my work. Like you said, my name's Christina Knight. I'm a family nurse practitioner, so I do help children as well, usually 12 and older. We are located in Wellesley, Massachusetts. It's called Inner Balance Integrative Medicine, and what we do is integrate. So we do a little bit of Western and Eastern, and we combine them. And my focus is on functional medicine, and like you said, it's basically we look to help heal a patient or help identify what's causing your illness. It doesn't matter what it is, rather than just giving you a medication or
Test
or test. Well, we do testing because we always want to definitely figure out if there's anything physical going on. But after that, usually there's more to it.
Okay.
So in my practice, I'm in practice with Dr. John Bordick, great physician. I highly respect him. And we used to work together at the Marino Center, and we went into private practice about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It's the best move we ever did because we can treat patients the way we want to.
Excellent.
So we also use specialized testing in order to help us identify what's causing these symptoms in our patients.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So the topic today is cough and cold, and
Yes.
as you know, it's been a very tough winter so
Yes.
far.
Yes.
Many of us are doing everything we can to stay healthy, but somehow still manage to get the sniffles and colds and flu. Surprisingly, our guts play a very important role in our immunity,
Yes.
in the total immune system. Do you mind just telling us a little more about that, please?
Sure. The gut is my specialty. I really believe that our immune system is in our gut, and there is quite a bit of research, up to 80%, is shown that through much extensive research, and it's coming out now in the journals, that indeed the immunity is in our gut. So if we don't keep this balanced, if we don't eat right, we don't sleep, we don't drink enough water, and we don't get the proper nutrition, it can definitely be off. And stress. Stress is huge in what happens with our immune system.
So what do you utilize in your practice to help the gut? Are probiotics or something important?
A probiotic, in my eyes, is a must. Unfortunately, the food system, the food sources are not the same as they were 10, 20, even 50 years ago.
Okay.
More of the minerals are taken out, and we used to have about 90 minerals in the soil. Now we're lucky if we have 20.
Okay.
So we can go to Whole Foods, we can get our food sources from farms, but it's not the same. The atmosphere is changing, pollution, the whole bit can definitely affect it. So we should be eating as organic as possible, avoid all the pesticides, and definitely, if you haven't had an organic apple, opposed to an apple that you may just buy at a regular store, definitely try it. There's a huge difference in how it tastes, and it's fresh, and you don't taste the chemicals.
And how about probiotics?
Probiotics, again, 85%, we have 85% of the healthy bacteria in our gut, and 15% is the bad bacteria. There should be a balance in there.
Okay.
And I definitely look for a good probiotic, one that can actually get into the intestines as it needs to. So you should definitely look and buy a good brand,
Okay.
A high quality brand. There's many out there.
Yep.
You just have to know where to
So ask your
look.
pharmacist, your physician.
Absolutely, and you want to look for Bifidobacter and Lactobacillus Those are the two main ones that are found
Can you say
mostly
that
in the
again
gut.
so for our audience?
Bifidobacter
Yeah.
and Lactobacillus, the species. So you want to have at least 10 billion.
And speaking of food, how about fermented food? What's your opinion on that?
I always start with diet.
Okay.
So my goal is to teach people how to eat the right foods.
Okay.
Fermented foods, absolutely. Things like sauerkraut, kimchi, even pickled, anything pickled. What's the other one? Kefir. Those are very important because they help the body produce probiotics naturally.
And by producing probiotics, we're helping the gut.
Absolutely.
In essence, improving our immunity,
Yes.
immunity and immune system.
Yes. The other important factor is fiber. And most of us do not eat enough fiber because fiber will break down as it's broken down and fermented into prebiotics, which make probiotics, etc. So, and water, good clean water.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so there's a lot of natural ways to boost our immune system, as you know. We hear a lot about vitamin C, zinc, echinacea. What do you recommend to your patients that call and say, I have the sniffles, I have a cold? Please help me. What
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely, vitamin C, absolutely, echinacea, elderberry. These are some natural that you can go over the counter and get that boost your immune system naturally.
Okay.
Zinc, very important. We've heard there's many brands out there that have combination.
Yeah.
And lots of water, steaming, good, rest, sleep enough. That lack of sleep can cause us to get sick. But yes, I do try to do as preventative as possible. So I usually have my patients maybe start in September, October, to start maybe some vitamin C every day. It's water soluble. It's not going to hurt you. Drink it with some water. That might be enough for most people.
Okay, and then again, you don't want to take too much because
No.
too much is not good. So
Right.
just moderate dosing.
Absolutely.
And they should check with the physician or the pharmacist
Absolutely.
on what's a good appropriate
Absolutely.
vitamin C or products
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Um,
And probiotics.
Probiotics.
Definitely probiotics.
and I think that I want to hit on something that you said, and that's rest. I think a lot of us get sick and we just keep going as if our body is, even though we know we're sick inside and we have the sniffles and sneezing and coughing,
Exactly.
we keep going, and our body needs to.
It needs to rest.
Rest.
And then think about the parents with young kids.
Yeah.
They bring them to daycare. A lot of germs are passed that way. And I know I have patients who come in and but are upset because children are brought to daycare sick. So that's this is how it's passed around.
Right.
So,
Right. So we always hear that if you're on an antibiotic, try to eat yogurt.
absolutely.
Yogurt is a great source of probiotics. Maybe not enough, but it still gives you enough supplementation to help you with the antibiotic effects on the gut.
Right.
But what you're saying is that it's not just necessarily.
It's not enough.
Not enough, but not necessarily to be on an antibiotic to use probiotics. You could just use probiotics
Yes.
on a daily basis
Yes.
if you choose to.
Yes, I do. I personally do,
Okay.
and I'm exposed to many ill
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Because they get sick. So I have to say, I've never missed a day of work
Knock on
because of the
wood.
flu.
Knock on wood. So again, I just want to home back again on the nutrition part.
Yes.
As you know, as we've discussed, proper nutrition is very important to our immune system. Do you mind explaining a little more about that? As to how proper eating.
Sure.
Nutrition's. What you recommend to your patients when they're sick, maybe to boost their immune system. Is that possible? If you could hit on some of those points.
Well, when you're sick, chicken noodle soup always tastes good,
that's
So
true.
we always go back to the basics, what Mom used to make.
Yeah.
But eating well can actually boost your immune system. If you have enough greens, like spinach, the greener the better. Well, it provides enzymes in there, and the vitamins, the B vitamins, and all potassium, all these important nutrients that help our body and help our body keep fight off any colds or viruses. Fruits and vegetables provide antioxidants, natural sugar. So they keep feeding our body. And if we're just eating chips and drinking soda or, it's not enough for the body. These are all processed foods that have to go through the gut. And if you have an unhealthy gut and you're eating all these foods instead of eating the right foods, it can definitely affect us.
So nutrition is very important no matter what, whether you're sick or not sick. But during an illness, especially like a flu or a cold,
Yes.
you need that nutrients and those products that you mentioned
Absolutely.
to boost our immune system.
Absolutely.
So hence, it's probably a little more important to eat well.
Very important.
During an
Very
illness.
important. And most people, if you find you eat well,
Yes.
you don't get sick.
And you mentioned the daycare and
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that you work at a health at the doctor's office and the germs coming through that
Yes.
workplace all the time. Hand washing.
Yes.
I think we need to discuss to our audience and how important hand washing is in preventing cough, cold, and flu. Can you discuss that a little bit? Do you stress that with your
Sure. One of the
patients?
things I wash my hands before and after I see a patient.
Okay.
And good hand washing is important. The problem is, I think we're getting a little carried away with antibacterial,
Yeah.
because we do have bacteria on our hands and our skin that actually protects us. But think about the dryness in the winter, and sometimes when you're using something harsh like antibacterial soaps, it can actually make your skin dry and cracked, and then the good bacteria that protects us can go in and cause infections. And so yes, hand washing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be antibacterial.
Okay.
We need
So
our
s-
immune system to take over.
So soap and water, but
Yes.
the 20-second rule.
You got
or
it.
saying happy birthday.
Absolutely.
Till it's
Yep.
done, and
Yep.
that's the amount
Yep.
of time that it should take
Exactly.
for a proper hand washing.
Yes, and
Okay.
you touch doors, you don't know where you've
Absolutely.
been, especially coming out of the bathroom.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly. Okay, thank you. So the cough, the cold and flu viruses have become a buzzword around here.
Yes.
Many of us say, "Oh, I have the flu," or "I have a cold," but sometimes people are interchanging them, and and that's not a true,
No.
true diagnosis of what's going on. Can you discuss the difference between a flu
Sure.
and a cold, please, so we all
Sure.
understand the difference?
When we get sick, of course, we don't feel good, and if you don't usually get sick, and you do get sick, you feel
Yes.
like you're dying.
Right.
Well, when you have a cold, usually you have congestion, nasal congestion. You can have a sore throat. You can have a congested cough.
Yes.
Maybe low-grade fever. With the flu, you basically have a dry cough. There's not necessarily a sore throat,
Yeah.
and you have body aches, and usually a fever of over 101
Okay.
at least. So you need to drink plenty of fluids.
Okay.
Fluids are a must.
Okay.
Again, the aloe helps.
Okay.
And rest, steam, and there's a lot of remedies out there. There's a lot of medications that people believe that may help shorten the flu, but honestly, there's so many side effects from certain medications, and they only shorten the flu by one day. So why go through that?
Okay.
The best thing to do is rest.
Okay. I mean, so that, those remedies could help some people, but rest is
Rest is
the
key.
body needs to rest.
Rest is key.
to get back to the balance that it needs.
and hydration.
And hydration.
So that chicken noodle soup, that aloe juice, the maybe some popsicles. One I'd like to mention, if I may, is the Pedialyte
Yeah.
for kids. I recommend for adults. Put it in there. They have the nutrients in there. We don't get enough B vitamins, and when you're sick, you should pump up the vitamin C, get some B vitamins and some zinc.
Okay.
Definitely, as we talked.
So you said vitamin C, B vitamins, and zinc.
Yes.
Are in those popsicles plus in the nutrients that
Yes.
that if we eat properly, our body would need to
Absolutely.
regain its status.
Absolutely.
And
When we
hopefully-
dehydrate,
Yep.
we lose a lot of salt.
Yep.
We lose so many nutrients, and some people can get very dizzy, and that's an imbalance.
Got it.
So, and most people who don't feel well, or they have a stomach bug or whatnot, don't want to drink anything or eat anything. So, it's very important to hydrate.
As a pharmacist, in Acton Pharmacy, we do provide flu shots as many other pharmacies do. So, can you discuss that briefly? The flu shot. There's some population that definitely need to get it.
Right. Correct.
You know, if you could just discuss the flu shot a little bit, please, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Well, very, very important, obviously, to speak with your physician.
Yes.
But anybody at high risk,
Yes.
it's highly recommended.
Okay.
So, you know, depending on what your diagnosis is, and again, you go in and you speak to your doctor.
Okay.
I try to I give choices.
Yes.
We give a choice to our patient. We explain the risks, we explain the benefits of
Sure.
having a flu shot,
Yeah.
and we let our patients make their own decision.
Okay.
Most of I would say at least 80% of our patients are very healthy,
Yes.
and they try to minimize the colds, but majority of them will have the flu shot.
Shot.
So it's a choice. It's a
Okay.
choice.
Okay. Okay.
So again, I go back to the nutrition,
Yep.
eating well, sleeping, you know, the whole bit, exercise as well too, because that releases endorphins and helps our immune system.
So rest, get
Yes.
your body to good status,
Yes.
and start your exercise program again.
Absolutely.
You don't want to exercise while you have the flu because
No, you
your
want to
body.
rest.
Yes.
You want to rest. You don't
Okay.
want to, because it's going to take. It's like eating a big meal and swimming.
Got it.
You don't want to do that. You
Right.
want to give the energy to heal your body.
Okay.
And in going back to the nutrition just for a minute,
Sure.
I also educate many of my patients on low glycemic eating.
Okay.
So the low glycemic is basically gives, you know, you're eating a lot of fiber, you're eating a lot of protein, you're not eating processed foods, and it keeps your body stable, keeps the sugar stable, and it helps you just stay much more healthier.
Thank you. As you know, as people get the cold, and you know, they come to the pharmacy, or they may call you and
Yeah.
say, you know, what can I take that's over the counter that may help? You know, there are many products, out on over the counter products that may help remedy this. You know, not get rid of the cold or get rid of the flu, but maybe help a little bit with the symptoms.
Sure.
What do you know? Can we discuss the decongestants and the
Sure.
and the antihistamines, and who should not use them, and you know? And
Sure.
and
So,
stress that a little
so
bit.
first of all, when they do call me, I know whether they have high blood pressure, if they have diabetes or whatnot, because I know my patients.
Yes.
So I will make recommendations. There are many cough syrups out there
Yep.
that do not have sugar
Okay.
or will not raise your blood pressure. You need to be careful on some with decongestions, because if you have high blood pressure, you've got to be careful, or if you have any kind of arrhythmias or palpitations or anything like that, it can affect you negatively. I go back to just, again, steam,
Yep.
rest, a little tea with honey is always nice.
Okay.
You know, you can, there's so many different brands of cough syrups that you can get, cough drops, all that stuff. If you have allergies, some people have allergies, and it just makes them more prone to getting a cold. So you can use the antihistamines, and now they're all over the counter. They used to be prescription.
Yes.
Definitely, I counsel my patients,
Okay.
or if they come, I'm sure, into the pharmacy,
Sure.
you give them advice.
Absolutely.
So guaifenesin is a natural product that's found in many cough syrups, and that's very beneficial to loosen up any congestion,
Yep.
keep things loose so they don't turn into a pneumonia or bronchitis.
Exactly. And I want to stress what you commented about the decongestants.
Yes.
That it's, you know, it will help,
Yes,
but
You have to
there's
be
a lot
careful.
of there's a lot of contraindications.
sure.
To a lot, to using that product on certain people, out there that may have blood pressure. Again, I just want to stress that
Exactly.
blood pressure,
Exactly.
heart condition, even some thyroid, thyroid conditions. So, please ask, the pharmacist or the physician that you might be calling as to
Right.
what products you can and can't use.
Correct.
So at least even at a physical, I always recommend to our customers, they come in and say, "Well, I have high blood pressure." I say, always talk to your physician next time you go to next time you have a physical, and find out whether you can and not. I cannot take these products, so when these things come,
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
good communication back and forth with the physician and the patient is very important, in my opinion, because sometimes I'll find that they will take something without calling anybody.
Yes.
And they'll be on the phone saying, my heart is pounding.
Right, what
Or
do I
I
do?
couldn't go to sleep last night, because I took a decongestant at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And as we know, you shouldn't be doing
Right.
that kind of stuff. So.
And the thing is, there's so many medications that have gone generic, and
Yes.
now they're over the counter.
Yes.
So it's very hard to regulate,
Yes.
and especially looking at interactions. When
Absolutely.
we're all medical records now, so
Right.
when we're putting in a medication, it's not going to cross-react, and people just don't know.
Okay.
So
Well, any other, any other products you want to discuss, or anything else you may recommend, or want to stress again to our audience?
One of the ingredients that I find very beneficial and I take every day, besides a probiotic, are antioxidants. So anything with, as I said, elderberry is one, resveratrol is another, pycnogenol is another, and red wine extract and grapeseed extract. If you get those, and you can take those through the winter months, they will not harm you in small doses. They work synergistically together to boost your immune system. So because of what we do in our office, I do a lot with supplementations. So, I have an extensive knowledge because I've educated myself. This is not anything that we really learn in school. This is something above and beyond. And, and I have all age groups. I see a lot of menopausal women, so, and men. I mean, men go through menopause too.
Sure,
Just
absolutely.
in a different way.
Yes, yes.
So we want to balance everything.
Okay. And obviously, with all those products, you always want to check with the physician
Absolutely.
or the pharmacist, whether
Absolutely.
because the pharmacist has your profile there, the physician knows what
Yes.
you're on, and it's just a good idea to always double check.
Exactly.
Because even though there could be supplements or there could be vitamins, you got to be careful that they may
Yes.
interact with
With what
the,
you're taking.
or the condition that you may have. They'll be
Well,
good
most people take
contraindication.
too much. It's
Right.
not that there's a big interaction, they just take too much and they don't know how to gauge it. That's why I like the small one-to-one, the small pharmacies, for me personally, because you have that one-to-one. Anyways, that's why I love you guys. You guys
Thank you
are
very
awesome.
much. Thank you. Christina, thank you so much for taking the
Sure.
time to be with us today, sharing your wonderful expertise on cold and flu. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I look forward to our next show.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Be
you for
well.
having me.
Thank you.
Okay.